Hello all, welcome to my channel Brainy Beardo. In this session, we will be discussing about how to derive an expression for velocity of sound or velocity of pressure waves in a compressible flow. We would have experienced that when we hit an object very hard, let's say for example an anvil, a disturbance is created, right? Now, that is why when we keep a hand or ear somewhere close to the object, we experience something like a shock wave, right? Now, the shock wave or the disturbance, in other words, is also called as the pressure waves, and these pressure waves travel in all the directions, okay? Now, that is what we would have experienced when we keep our hand or ear nearly close to the anvil. We would have experienced these shock waves in the form of a sound, right? That is why these pressure waves, when they travel through this medium, they travel with the velocity of sound, okay? Now, the sound has a property. Now, the velocity of this particular sound, it depends upon what medium it travels through, right? So, the reason being, the disturbance that has been created is transferred with the help of molecules. That is, one molecule transfers the disturbance to the adjacent molecule. So that is why in solids the molecules are closely packed. That is why the sound travels faster in solids. But at the same time, when you take a fluid like a liquid or a gas, the problem here is the molecules are comparatively spaced compared to solids. So what happens here is the sound travels comparatively slower in fluids. Okay. Now, to derive the expression of the velocity of sound, let us assume a long pipe, and let this long pipe be filled with some fluid, let us say air or gas, which is basically compressible in nature. Now, let us fix a piston on one end of the pipe. Okay. Now, let the initial position of this piston, we will call it as A, point A. Now, when we push this piston a bit forward for a small interval of time, what happens here is a pressure wave or a disturbance is created within the fluid, and this pressure wave also travels in the same direction with the velocity of sound, okay, something like this. Now, let us say after the very small interval of time, the position of this particular piston, let us call it as point B. Now, after the same interval of time, the pressure wave would have traveled a bit forward, so that position, let us call it as point O. Now, the distance between point A to point B, we will call it as X, and the same position or the distance between point A to point O, we will call it as capital L. Alright? Now, let us define some nomenclatures for this pipe. Now, let the cross-section area of the pipe, we will call it as A. Now, the velocity at which the piston is moving forward, let us call that velocity as capital V. Now, the pressure of the fluid that is there inside the pipe when the piston was at rest or when the piston was at position A is, let us call that particular pressure to be as capital P. Similarly, the density of the fluid that is there inside the pipe when the piston was at rest or at position A, let us call it as rho. Now, the time taken for the piston to move from position A to position B, let us call it as dt. Now, the velocity of sound by which the pressure wave is moving forward, we will call it as capital C. Okay. Now, we all know that x is the distance traveled by the piston from position A to position B, right? Now, we all know that velocity is defined as distance traveled by time taken. So, obviously, the distance traveled will be equal to, when we rearrange this equation, we get the velocity into time taken. So, since x is the distance traveled by the piston, so we can derive an expression for x saying that it is nothing but the product of velocity v into the time taken dt. So, x is equal to v into dt. So, we will call it as equation number 1. Similarly, if you look into this L, right, it is nothing but the distance traveled by the pressure wave for the same interval dt, right? So, again, with the help of the same expression, we can derive that L is equal to the velocity c into dt. Now, we will call this as equation number 2. Now, we all know that the speed of the sound will be very much higher compared to the velocity of the piston. So, obviously, the value of L would also be very high compared to that of x. Now because of this, what happens? The fluid would have compressed between this region. So the fluid is compressed between point B and point O. Okay. So when the fluid gets compressed between point B and point O, the pressure and density of the fluid changes. So let us call the pressure of the fluid after compression as P plus dP. Similarly, the density of the fluid after compression as rho plus d rho, where dP and d rho is nothing but called as the change in pressure and the change in density. Now as you can see, when the piston moves from position A to position B, there is a force exerted by the piston onto the fluid, right? And the fluid also moves in the same direction as that of the piston with the same velocity as that of the piston. So we can apply the Newton's law on the fluid, and where it says the net force acting on the fluid is equal to the rate of change of momentum. Now we know that the formula for the rate of change of momentum is mass flow rate into the change in velocity, right? So the mass flow rate is between the position, or that is the initial mass, that is another between position A and position O. So we can write the net force on the fluid is equal to the mass between point A and point O divided by time into the change in velocity, that is V minus 0. Now let us call this as equation number 3. Now let us find an expression for mass between A and O. Now we all know that the mass is equal to density into volume, and the volume between point A and point O is nothing but the length, that is capital L, into the cross section area, that is small a. So we can write mass between point A and point O is equal to rho into A into L, that is equal to rho into A into the L is nothing but C into dt, right? So we can write as L is equal to C into dt. So this would be the equation of mass between A and O. So we'll call this as equation number 4. Now let us find an expression for the net force acting on the fluid. As you can see, the net force acting on the fluid is because of the change in pressure, right? So we can write the net force acting on the fluid as the pressure force after compression minus the pressure force before compression. So we all know that pressure is equal to force by area. So which means the force will be equal to pressure into area. So we can write the pressure force after compression as the pressure of the fluid after compression into the area, that is small a, minus the pressure before compression is the pressure P, that is the initial pressure of the fluid, into A. So we can write the net force of the fluid is equal to P plus dP into A minus P into A. Now when you simplify this equation, you get net force acting on the fluid will be dP into A, and we will call it as equation number 5, right? Now substituting equation 5 and equation 4 in equation 3, we get the net force on the fluid is dP into A, and the mass of the fluid is rho A into C into dt, divided by the time is dt again, into the velocity, that is V, right? And as you can see, this area terms could be cancelled out, and similarly this dt terms could also be cancelled out. So what will be left out is dP is equal to rho into C into V. Now I'll take the C to the other side, so we get rho V is equal to dP by C, and we'll call it as equation number 6. Now we know that from continuity equation that the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. So which means the mass of the fluid before compression should be equal to the mass of the fluid after compression, right? So the mass of the fluid before compression is the mass between AO, and the mass of the fluid after compression is between BO, right? Now let us call this as equation number 7. Now we all know that the value of mass between AO, that is rho A C into dt, right? So similarly, we will find out an expression for mass BO. So we know that the mass is again between B and O is nothing but density into volume. That will be density after compression, that is rho plus d rho, into volume is cross section area A into the distance between BO. The distance between BO, from the diagram we see that it is capital L minus small x. So that is capital L minus x. So we know that from equation 2 and equation 1 that L is equal to C into dt, and from equation 1 we know that x is equal to V into dt, right? So when we substitute that, we get rho plus d rho into A into C dt minus V dt. Now when we substitute this equation in equation 7, we get mass of AO, that is rho A C into dt, and mass of BO, that is rho plus d rho into A into C into dt minus V into dt. Now when we take this dt term outside, and A and dt could be cancelled out. So what will be left out would be rho into C is equal to rho plus d rho into C minus V. Now what we can do is we can multiply the brackets, or we can open the brackets. So when we open it, we get rho into C is equal to rho into C minus rho into V plus C into d rho minus V into d rho. Now as you can see this, rho into C and rho into C could be cancelled out. So we have two negative terms and a positive term. So take the negative terms to the other side and this positive term onto one side. So we get C d rho is equal to rho into V plus V into d rho. Now what we can do here is, this d rho is a very small quantity, and V is also very small compared to C. So basically the product of these two things is also a very small quantity which could be neglected. So what will be left out is C into d rho is equal to rho into V. Now we will call this as equation number 8. But as you can see from equation 6, we know rho V is equal to dP by C. So this equation 8 and equation 6 is same. So basically we will apply this equation 8 in equation 6. So when we apply that, we get C into d rho is equal to dP by C. Now we'll just keep the C terms onto one side and all other terms on the other side. So we get C square is equal to dP by d rho. Now when we take the square root on both the sides, we get C is equal to square root of dP by d rho. So this is the expression of the velocity of sound in a fluid medium, where it says it is a square root of the change in pressure to the change in density. Okay, so this comes to the end of my video. If you like my video, do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Yeah, thank you and see you in another video.